options for the Valiant quest and kind of a sort of guide to it. Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. If you're thinking, first of all, that I'm going to be doing some like thoughts and kind of, I know the mode ain't great. This version ain't great. That's not what this video is going to be focused on. I'm going to focus on how to do it. I'll have another video out tomorrow that will talk about why it's a bit of an ass piece of content. But that's another story for another day. Let's get into the facts about Valiant difficulty for the month of July. So, I've got some tips. The link to this is in the description, of course. You can go check it out. Please support the video by just giving a like. That'd be very, very kind of you. But yeah, if you want to go and just jump to like what's Richard going to talk about when it comes to guides, spreadsheet, blah, 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 just, you know, you can go and check it out. It's up to you. Just give support. That's really it. That's what I can say. Anyway, focusing on this content in general, apart from the buggy elements, I have noticed a few things that you can kind of get away with. So currently, a way you can set up to save your champion usage. In every individual quest, like this here, you have to use a specific type of class. In this particular one, which is 1.1, you have to use skill and cosmic champions. Skill for the paths, cosmic for the bosses. Or cosmic for the paths and skill for the bosses. You can really get a gauge of that by actually going into the quest first and foremost. I should have done that first of all. So if you go in, it does say that, yes, it's skill champions for the path, and then cosmic is advisable for the boss. It's quite restrictive in that, but there are kind of ways you could do that. But you can go like, oh, well, let's just start off and go, oh, well, I could just bring in a bunch of cosmics. Yes, but that's what you could do. Even though the skill node is for the paths itself, as my Elgato dies. There we go, it's back again. You can see there, like, it's a skillful distraction for the path side of things. But what you could do is for the first 3 fights is just take in 3 cosmics and save your skill-based champions for a latter point. You might be like, well, I don't have a huge amount of skill-based champions, or you got specific ones you've planned for your paths. And that's something I do recommend for a lot of people, is that before you go in, plan your paths. So as you can see right here, my path is planned. We'll go over just a breakdown in a second, but I just want to go over the top tip. So use those 3 cosmic champions or boss-based champions first, so therefore you'll save for future kind of like endeavors. Rank 2, 7 stars or better, of course, yeah. Regen champions, look out for ones in different types of classes that are able to get regen. If you are able to get the regeneration back, it means as soon as you get into some of these choice nodes, like right here, you're able to choose champions at a higher health pool, like, oh, go to that point there, and then it's like, well, I regen, so good. That's how that kind of works effectively. Nice. Okay, sweet as a nut, mate. What else? Well, yeah, you fight the end boss not 2 times. In some cases 3 times. Maybe I should put 2 to 3 times. Like, it's kind of painful at times to do that. Watch out for relic-based activation that you might have to do. Pop boost, please do that. And if you make a wrong decision, I actually made a wrong decision with taking the wrong champion against Count Nefaria because it wasn't doing anything. I had to restart the entire quest. So be very careful about who you're choosing and plan ahead with it. But anyway, let's kind of go into each individual quest and break stuff down, shall we? Now, if you need like a detailed guide over several different videos, you don't. Like, don't overread into this. There are little things that are just important, but effectively take skill champions that have access to evade or have incinerates or shocks or disorients as part of their kit. That's just it. That's skillful distraction, that's Mixmaster, and that's that in a nutshell. So that's really it. Evade counters and all that stuff. I did use champions that didn't really have that, but Nick Fury, Silver Sable are good. You've also got access to lots of other different champions that I think is where you can use some of the, like, I've noted down that you could use champions that are cosmic here, which I don't know if that's correct. I don't know if that's because you can, I think it's bugged, but if it's not bugged, just use skill champions. But I think there might be the bug at the moment that you can use champions wherever. Watch out if it's bugged. Plan your skill champions around there. Choose ones that have got Mole Man should be in here because he's got access to a shock debuff. He's also got a true accuracy, so he's able to deal with any kind of evade-based measures. So that's really that. That's, again, don't overread into it. If you've got your auto block counters like Vox, Hercules, Null as well, Serpent. No, it's not Serpent. Well, Serpent's good in any case, like against Psycho Man. I think I used him before and it was absolutely fine. Again, don't overread into it. It's fine. It's when it gets to the latter quest, you probably need to worry a little bit. The next one is Academic Constitution. It is basically saying use your science champions straight up, right? On the particular paths, nothing to worry about really. There might be, well, unstoppable counter for Rintra, maybe, like there, possibly. There is, again, maybe a need for poison immunity options of science, possibly. Other than that, I would say any of strong mutants for Mole Man. Onslaught does this fine. Magneto has resistance to shock, because that's another thing people might get annoyed about, is that the champion does have unblockable. You can just rotate around that, to be honest. Like, so make sure you keep your distance. Make sure you kind of like, oh, special attacks coming up, oh, he's going unblockable, well, I'll keep my distance. But if you've got shock immune options like Storm, like, well, Bishop's an interaction with shock, Storm Pyramid X could work. And also a reduced down in resistance could mean that Mole Man could be taken by Onslaught or Red Magneto. You pick. And of course, any science-based champion is going to do the path absolutely fine with Academic Constitution. You will get poison on you, but you can shrug that off. That's how you get your Fury passives. And of course, yeah, that's, again, Overseer. God, Overseer. That's even to me looking like it's wrong. Anyway, it's very hot at the moment and not getting any sleep, so it is what it is. But yes, those have been some champions I use, counter options there. Try and burn off against champions like Ronan, Old Man Logan, and yeah, just those. Any of your weaker science champions, try and use your stronger champions for fights that you might find difficult. That's probably my top tips and advice with that. Cracking the armors next with 2.1. Cosmic champions for the path, science champions for the boss. It's a very straightforward base one. If you've got armor breakers, it does make things easy and easier. And yes, there's lots of options. So you can see right here, if you have King Groot, pause then. Null, spell Null right, Richard. King Groot, Null, Serpent, Deathless King Groot, Venom, possibly, yeah, Medusa, Ronan. Ronan can be quite good against Hela because she has a lot of buffs, and of course you could do the punishment-based thing there. But if you've got a cosmic-based, I think any cosmic champion really works. Don't overread it. But armor breakers make it better to deal with this and have a lot more fun. You might need a poison immune champion for Diablo, Death of She-Hulk. I know I put that in Silk in there, but Silk does Silk things, and Hulk does Hulk things. Everybody of those three smashes, and that's nice. Nothing really to report back. The path has some fine fights, just as long as you don't use a hashtag metal against White Magneto. You're all right. Void, King Groot against Void is good because of debuff shrugging. Must point that out. Apart from that, yeah, nothing to worry about. Let's move on to the next quest. Without being totally rude, this is when Kabam started to smoke a little bit of the wacky tobacco and decide to put in, 28 fights or some rubbish like that, where we get like multiple paths. This is a ball ache, to be brutally honest. Rather than kind of like going into like what everything is wrong with it or the good and the bad of it, you need tech champions to do the paths. You need your mystic champions to go and do the boss. Mystic champions, I do recommend Shathra. I only kind of twigged onto Shathra the, millionth time I had to do the Annihilus fight, and I hate Annihilus. Absolutely cannot stand that fight in general. The AI is shite in it, but I find inputs in this game this month have been atrocious. But anyway, it is what it is. Got through it, whatever. Deathless Guillotine I had used, Juggernaut as well. As I said, Shathra's good. against that SP1 rotate, possibly have a special to throw if you need to get yourself out of trouble if you're back against a wall. Infectious Wrath, Engineered Fracture, Nanite Healing, Indomitable. Right, there's a few little pitfalls here with preparing your team. Things that you need to be aware of that you might slip up on if you aren't prepared. So first of all, you should bring in for Morningstar, a bleed immune champion. So I use Guillotine 2099. A Mega Sentinel can just launch yourself in a heal block. As long as you do that pre-fight, you're fine. Then you've got, you might be running low on champions. Warlock's good, easy access to heal block, and Deathless Vision's equally as good as well. Spider-Ham, I recommend either an evade counter or a parry heavy rotation with Warlock. I did try Prowler with obviously the evade counter he has, but that didn't really kind of like suit what I was looking at, I wanted to do. Going back on the other route, you will need for Immortal Abomination a poison immune option, a non-buff champion or nullify immune or miss counter. I used the Mega Sentinel for that one, but there's other options you could use that work relatively well. And Unstoppable Colossus is a little bit of a slog. Silver Centurion has a slow debuff, so that could be cool to do that. And that's really it. Nothing really concerned me too much about 2.2, but except for the Ultron fight, evade counter, maybe a poison immune for that particular one, but depends what you've got to use. Now, as I entered 3.1, I was slowly losing the will to live with this particular mode, but there were some interesting things, and again, to be watching out for. I mean, first of all, Arcane Zeal, so a lot of kind of like mystics with nullification-based abilities or easy access to can be relatively helpful right here. Against the boss, High Evolutionary, I've whittled it down to the greatest hits of options. I really enjoyed Killmonger here. I really enjoyed Nick Fury here. Bullseye was good here as well. I felt that access to an auto-block counter was essential. And of course, going up against High Evolutionary, as I said in my Paragon Gauntlet video, it was just about keeping out of the field because you go inverted controls, and I don't like inverted controls. If you're fine with that, you're fine with that. If you're not, you're not. Anyway, just get yourself out of that field. And if you've got an evade-based counter, you can then bypass. Evade-based counter bypasses Mixed Master. So you'll have he doesn't have Mixed Master on the outside, but he has it's part of his kit. That's why a lot of the time you'll go like medium, and change your combination. But adding in something like just all the coverage is better, mainly because you've got auto block, evade, and potentially miss. So Bullseye has access to all those abilities off an SP1. It's part of his kit. Miss. A part of his SP1, true accuracy. So it's auto block counter and evade base counter. Killmonger can be good, as I said here. Nick Fury just does Nick Fury things. And Silver Sable, because Silver Sable does Silver Sable things. And that actually worked relatively well. You can either go, or you could just go parry, hit, swipe back, parry, hit. Just kind of like parry rotate the champion. That could be another easy rotation if you're struggling with options to take him down. Right. That out of the way, paths. On the path, Arcane Zeal, okay, just your mystic base counters for that one. On the routes, nothing really I'd kind of say for worry, except for Airwalker on the right side. You're probably going to need a power control option there. Super Scroll needs a hard counter for suppressing those buffs. Wiccan could be good right there. On the left-hand side, Ultron. Don't use energy champs here. I actually did it once and was like, oh, no, that's a bad idea. I actually think I messed up and Wiccan was meant to go where Absman is. And I was like, no, that's a silly thing. That's a boo-boo right there. Other than that, everything's straightforward. Doctor Doom, for Guardian, possibly. Depends who you got options-wise. And, of course, plan your routes. The final quest is going to be 3.2. Look, when it comes to the boss maker, just use evade-based counters. You can't go wrong with evade-based counters. I'm going to throw some options at you that I used. Null, Serpent, Medusa, if you can get the rotations in. if you can push the Gamora up to an SP3 with the True Strike, any champion, just check if they got the evade base counter abilities. Null with the symbiote attacks, with medium and special attacks. Like there's options out there in the Cosmic line. It does make it very restrictive, so I do apologize and sympathize with players. And yes, it is very kind of like boring and repetitive with this, but. Anyway, for the paths, mutants, healing factor, just a scratch, relentless mutation, any mutants really, to be honest, nothing really stands out. It just depends who you've got. Like, I can recommend you like a million different champions, but largely it goes back to, do you actually have the champions? Like, you have to look at your roster and go, you don't go, oh, Rich said use this one. Well, I don't know you have that one. It's not guesswork. I have to kind of... I go, well, this is what I used. I also decided to use on this one the 3 of one particular type of class to begin with to get myself up to Maker. Then I decided to change them. Like at the top fights here, like I just used 3 like boss ones. So I used like Cosmic. Yeah. Like that. And what did it save me? It saved me champions that I could then use within the paths if there was a strong champions that I wanted to use. Yes, I don't get benefit of the nodes, but that's the point, isn't it? So anything that stands out? No. Taskmaster Magneto is hashtag metal. I should put that in there. Hashtag metal counter. And then we've got Negasonic Teenage Warhead against Kingpin because of the debuff elements, passive effects, so use that. Apart from that, nothing stands out. Oh, except for Abomination. You're going to need a poison immune option there just to make it easier. And on the right side, I decided to use against Human Torch Iceman just because he's Incinerate immune. And that's going to be... Oh, and against Daredevil Hell's Kitchen, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, passive effects. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going into great detail because I don't really need to. You need to have a look at your own roster. I can show you options all day long, but if you don't have the options, it makes it very restrictive. Look at your roster right now. Plan out your routes. That's the best thing I can really say. Plan out your routes. Make sure you got the right counters. And fingers crossed. And I know it's really grindy at the moment. I'll be doing a video covering that later on or tomorrow. Have a lovely day, whatever you're doing. That's been my Valiant Quest guide or things to mention and options, sort of, and I'll see you all in the next one. I hope you do this.